Can you believe how much Nintendo has shaped the world of video games over the decades? From humble beginnings to global phenomenon, Nintendo's systems have not only transformed how we play, but also how we connect, explore, and dream. This story of innovation, creativity, and deep love for gaming spans generations, all leading up to the new release of the Nintendo Switch 2. In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive through the console systems of Nintendo. Now, this means we're not going to be covering any of those handheld systems like the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance. That will come in another video. Can you imagine a time before Super Mario Bros.? Before the magic of the Mushroom Kingdom? The NES wasn't just another gaming console. It resurrected the video game industry after a devastating crash in 1983. At a time when many had lost faith in the world of video games, Nintendo brought back the spark. This system introduced millions to Mario, the now iconic plumber, who become synonymous with gaming itself. Super Mario Bros. Wasn't just a game, it was a revolution. It was a video game that was made for everyone. Whether you were a grandparent or a child, you could get behind Super Mario. The NES would also bring to light other games like The Legend of Zelda, which took players into vast kingdoms, into areas and lands they had never seen before, and a new puzzle world solving type of game. Beyond just Mario and Zelda, the NES brought many classics to life, like Metroid, where players could explore alien planets, and also Donkey Kong. This introduced the world to incredible characters. That is what set the NES apart and what made it so prevalent during the 1980s. It was a true dawn of video games once again. The 8-bit system is what truly brought to life the characters and made them become something more than just a static screen. It truly brought families together playing video games, and kids' excitement was everywhere during this time period, which was a hit for Nintendo. After the incredible success of the NES, Nintendo knew they had to bring something better and even more exciting to the fold. In 1990, they brought about the Super NES, or the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Gamers were ready for more. This would be a 16-bit powerhouse, and it gave Nintendo a chance to amplify the storytelling, graphics, and also the sound. The Super Nintendo was more than just an upgrade. It was a masterpiece. It brought to life the Nintendo characters in a way that people hadn't seen before. Super Mario World was a masterpiece in design with vibrant visuals, and it would bring in new characters, and players would be introduced to the cherished Yoshi, a lovable dinosaur who was the companion of Mario and added a new dynamic to the gameplay. Meanwhile, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, took fans on a journey into a much richer narrative and more immersive worlds. It really brought to life the Zelda and Link characters. Super Metroid brought a brand new storytelling into the world of space travel and aliens. It took the game to a new height, introducing more characters and expanding the world further. But what made the Super Nintendo so successful was the fact that they were able to build upon the games and the characters they already had. They knew they had increased competition with systems like Sega and arcades around the world, but Nintendo knew if they could increase the visuals and better the gameplay, they could bring in more audiences. Once again, it wasn't just for children. It was an experience for parents, grandparents, and families across the board. But nothing was more iconic in the revolution that was Nintendo than the N64. In 1996, the world leapt into the world of 3D gaming, which was monumental for Nintendo. It brought a brand new light to the world of video games. It was the first home console that realized 3D worlds with millions of different areas you could play, whether that be a sporting game or a Mario game. It was iconic. Super Mario 64 became one of the most cherished and iconic games of the 90s. If you talk to anyone who grew up during this time period, it will become apparent how much this game was beloved, whether they owned an N64 or they would play at their friend's house. every Friday night while eating pizza and drinking soda. The 3D graphics and the ability to explore various worlds was what made the Nintendo 64 so iconic. In Mario 64, you could walk through Peach's castle, jump through paintings, and visit various different levels. In sporting games, you could actually tell somewhat who the players were on the field. It was revolutionary. It was something that fans and video gamers hadn't seen before. But on top of all of that, it was Nintendo's marketing that really made the system so iconic. Videos from those days can be seen everywhere online now of kids opening up their N64 on Christmas Day with such excitement. This was all because Nintendo was able to build a market so unique, so different, that it made the product so desired. It was one of the greatest marketing campaigns in video game history. Now, being Nintendo, following the N64 would be very challenging. With many video game companies in the past, following a very successful system was one of the hardest things to do. Well, they would bring to the fold the GameCube in 2001, a technical marvel which would create a brand new creative playground for fans everywhere. They would bring one of the most iconic games in history, Super Smash Bros. Melee, a competitive brawler-like video game that would bring a new element, bringing together not only the characters in the Nintendo world, but from the other outside areas as well. It would bring a new light to the characters and the video gaming world. GameCube's mini DVD discs allowed for faster play times and load times. It also enhanced audiovisuals exponentially. It was seen as a much needed improvement from the N64. However, at this time, there would be systems coming out from PlayStation and Xbox that would take more of that teenage crowd. The GameCube would be seen as more of that family element game for little kids and for those who wanted to play as a full family. Something that Nintendo was fearful that they would be seen as more of the kiddie video game system. To help combat this, they would bring about the Wii, a gaming system for everyone, in 2006. The Wii didn't just change Nintendo's fortunes, it changed gaming forever. It broke the mold and motion of gaming. No longer would you sit static. Instead, you could get up, run around, and play various different games. Now, the Wii, once again, was labeled more of that family video gaming system. However, it became very popular with college students needing something to do in their dorm rooms, as well as many teenagers who liked sporting games. As games like Madden, you could actually run around as the quarterback and throw the football in various different angles. It added a new element to gaming, and it began to capture that teenage to mid-20s adult. It was an iconic video game system, and if you lived through the mid-2000s, I'm sure you owned a Wii. Next would come the Wii U, and I'll be quick with this one. The Wii U was essentially Nintendo's first attempt in blending the worlds of portable gaming and traditional gaming. The Wii U wasn't that big of a success, but it was seen as the paving ground for the Nintendo Switch. It was truly the beginning of thinking for Nintendo, how they could mold these worlds together, the success that they had in the past of the Game Boy and the traditional Nintendo systems. This would lead to the revolutionary system in 2017, the Nintendo Switch. It would combine the home console power with handheld freedom. It broke many boundaries that people were hoping would be broken many years before. It allowed for individuals to play video games wherever they wanted, but also turn it into a console system wherever they were. It was something so unique. You could play video games on a plane and then hook it up to a TV right as you got off that runway. It was something incredible. With games like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey, it brought new life into the Nintendo video game systems. It was something so iconic and would live on for many years, being one of the best systems all around. It was seen as a system that anyone could play at any time. It was truly embodying what Nintendo originally set out to do, which leads to the Nintendo Switch 2, which just launched and has become a huge hit, due to, once again, Nintendo's incredible marketing, bringing back the iconic Paul Rudd to relive his childhood glory days of playing Nintendo once again, with launch titles like Mario Kart World and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The Nintendo Switch 2 is due to be such a hit. The world of Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, and all the others mean so much. You can see it everywhere you go. These characters are iconic. Even in the new Epic Universe at Universal, these characters are living on, and these combined marketing efforts with Nintendo, Universal, and all other companies that they partner with will make the Nintendo Switch 2 one of the most successful systems of all time because of the joy it brings, because it's not just a gaming system for the high tech, it's a gaming system made, designed, and built for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what has been your favorite Nintendo system. We'd love to hear from all of you. And also, drop us your favorite Nintendo video game as well. We want to see if it's our favorites. Of course, GoldenEye will be probably at the top of our list, but let us know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Believable Truths.